Hey everyone, this is Bridget, and today I'm going to be talking about how to connect with your spirit guides. And having worked with thousands of clients over 8 years on this topic, connecting with their guides and tuning in, I really am going to take you into how to perceive them yourself and how to really make contact. So stick through the whole video and let's dive in. So first and foremost, everyone has guides, okay? You were born with guides. The moment that you made this soul contract of this particular life theme, this particular energy that you wanted to explore in yourself, there are certain non-physical entities that are like guardians that wanted to assist you. And they also wanted to assist you to learn themselves. So that it's this beautiful co-creation relationship between you and these spirit beings that wanted to watch and observe and assist in your physical life, in your physical incarnation. These guides that are always with you, you could call your primary guides. They're the ones that are never going to leave you. And there's a synchronization between your energy and them that makes it this beautiful assistive balance. Now, there's many other kinds of guides that come and go, ebb and flow, come in and out, depending on your vibration, depending on different things that you're working on, whether you're having challenges, whether you're doing creative projects. That energy in you transmits out and then attracts these beings to then assist you. So right now we're talking about spirit guides specifically. Now there's so many other kinds of non-physical beings. And this is amazing as you really dive into this. You might be a beginner, you might be already really into it. I mean, you've got angels, you've got earthbound spirits, you've got ancestors, you've got nature spirits, you've got so many different kinds of energies at play in the non-physical realm. And so I want to already start to encourage the distinguishing of your guides versus any other non-physical energies. So the primary way to begin connecting with your guides is one through basic intention, through the intention of connecting specifically with them. To know that these are your spirit guides, you first want to connect with some of the energies that they embody, which is unconditional, objective support of your highest interest. They are also won't do anything against your free will. They're very subtle. And that's something to note, because in a way, even when I first started doing this and connecting with them myself, I was like, are they just going to manifest and appear in front of me? Or am I going to get this like big show, you know? I don't know. For some reason, it seems like a biblical moment when you like connect with your spirit guide or something. But honestly, when a guide is doing its work, it is subtle and you probably don't even notice, because they're guiding you all the time. And this is when, one, they're doing their job, because all you're meant to do is be on your path. And so if they can do that in a way that doesn't disrupt you, that's gonna be the best thing for you, because you'll be empowered on this journey. Now, if they need to start like interrupting and really make themselves kind of known, that might mean that you're actually off track. So oftentimes, in one case, if you're not feeling them, that might just be that you're on track and it's a subtle energy that they're using to guide you. Now, if you're actually wanting to connect, which is such an amazing way to start to build your relationship with the spirit world and the non-physical reality, is primarily through intention. Now, is setting the intention to connect with your spirit guides. Now, as I've been creating this video, I've already felt the energy of my guides communicating what is needed for those who are going to watch this video. And that's a different interesting thing, is that my guides connect with your guides and they're friends and they work together. And this is what I've noticed over years working with clients, is that we're engaging with each other and they're working in the spirit realm to work with you. So just know that one of the things that they told me surrounding this idea of intention, and one of the ways to perceive them and to connect, is through that feeling of when you might have been a kid. It might be when you were a kid. It might just be any time when you're alone and you feel a presence, but this presence feels good. It feels soothing. that oftentimes is them. And that's one of the things that my guides wanted me to say, because there's oftentimes also those times where you're alone, where you're like, there is definitely something with me, but it's probably not the most positive. And in that case, it's probably an earthbound spirit or some kind of other entity. So this whole exercise is also starting to allow your senses to perceive the non-physical, which can kind of be a little bit scary sometimes, because it's real, and you're gonna realize that it's real. And no matter if it's something positive or not, that it's kind of freaky in a cool way. So begin first with this intention of wanting to connect with your guides, and then being ready to have the non-physical begin connecting with you, to open that door. And so be ready for extraordinary. Now, again, they're going to be subtle, and the ways that they're going to come to you is through the path of least resistance of your extrasensory perceptions. Because they're non-physical, they're going to work with those perceptions of sensory abilities that you have that are connected to that realm, to that higher level of frequency. So if you haven't figured it out already, and I'm going to do another video on this, on extrasensory perceptions, how do you perceive? How do you connect with energy, with your intuition, with your energy body, with spirit? So this is something that you're going to need to dive into, because it's kind of a prerequisite to be able to then understand how your guides are going to connect with you, because they're going to connect in the easiest way for you, because they're here to serve you, and they're nice that way. So is it through sight? Do you get visions? Is it through clairvoyance? Do you hear things? Do you get ringing in your ear? Do you have body sensation? You might feel hot. You might feel cold in certain parts of your body. You might get overwhelmed with emotion. That's one that happens to me a lot, where it hits me and I can feel the love and the presence, and it becomes a very emotional experience. It could be just that knowing, it could be that sensing, right, of like something outside of you in the room, things like that. So begin to attune to how you perceive. Maybe you've had some kind of experiences in your life that you can draw back upon and go, oh yeah, that's how I did it back then. So that's probably the avenue that they're going to use again. Dream time is another way that guides can communicate. So those are the beginning steps of then how it is going to happen once you set the intention. So just you putting out the energy of like, all right, I'm ready to connect, because they're so keen on free will, they're gonna go, okay, they're ready to connect. So this, again, because it's very subtle, you're gonna want to take some time and truly be quiet and truly be present, usually in a space that's not cluttered with a lot of other energy, so a lot of other people, because your guides, I mean, they're literally in your field at all times, and so if you're, say, in an apartment complex and there's like people over here, people over there, you start to intertwine with all these other interdimensional energies. So if it's something where you can get yourself kind of in a quiet, clean space to connect and to quiet your mind and tune in and just have no expectations and begin to feel, to sense in whatever way that is easiest for you, them coming to you, them just communicating. This can be in all those different ways that I explained. Now, if at the beginning there's just nothing happening, just do a little body scan of your own body and sense if there's anything subtly happening. Again, that hot and cold. And then also do a scanning, just kind of extend your energy, extend your awareness beyond your body, around you, 360, so above, below, to the sides, and begin to feel into your field and sense if there's any particular energies. Now, at this point, you'll probably feel or perceive something because they're wanting to connect with you. And if you're not, it's because you're trying too hard, or it's a non-vibrational match. Because these are non-physical beings, which means they have a little bit more of a high or a different bandwidth than we do. So you might want to kind of connect in with your heart, raise your energy, do something that makes you feel alivened, open, free, connective, because in that receptive place is where you're going to connect. So then in that moment of connection, that bond then and that relationship will start. So this could take place in the form of hearing their name. It could be that you just sense a particular energy, you see a certain color, whatever it is. And the key is to note the essence of it, because it's an actual frequency signature. Now, this becomes hyper relevant as you begin to expand your spirit connections, because then when you're connecting with your Pleiadian counterpart, which are guides, your Pleiadian counterpart, and then you're connecting with this angel, and then you're connecting with the spirit of the land that you're on, and then you're connecting with this. All of these are like different colors. They're different frequency bandwidths. They all have different energies. And so the more that you can go, oh, okay, this is the beginning. This is this energy. And go, okay, that's what it feels like, or that's what I see, or that's what I sense. So that when you then sit down again to connect, then you can tap back into that frequency bandwidth, and that is your communication channel that is now open. Now, if the communication is kind of challenging, or if you're just beginning, make sure to do it in a good state so that you don't have expectations. Because sometimes we don't reach out to the higher aspects of ourselves and our guides until things are challenging and we're like, please, okay, I'll call on those spirit guides. I don't know if they actually exist, but let's call on them. Maybe they'll help me in this situation. Maybe they'll heal me, something going on. And so those are the moments where, yes, that can happen that way. But if you can connect in a space where you're good and you don't really need anything, and it's just this balanced, open communication, that's going to be much healthier, and it'll probably happen much more easily than this other trying to like needy thing that you need help from this outside source. That's one of the things that they don't really want, because they want to encourage your own sovereignty, your own empowerment. So guides can come in to support you for any sort of thing, whether it's healing, whether it's expanding your consciousness, whether it's opening certain energy parts in your body to like open your extrasensory abilities. Like that's one of the reasons why they come to you through that, is to help pave those pathways, right? Because those are the pathways to the spirit realm. All sorts of things, to learn things, any kind of information. They're just these kind of like transmitters of the Akashic records or source or whatever information that you want. So really utilize them. They're there for you. So a specific spirit guide that I connected to quite a few years ago, that came through for things that were relevant at that time for me as I was opening these abilities, was this ancestor who can also be a spirit guide named Guinea. And she was from many, many generations back in my female lineage, and one of her masteries in her physical life was mediumship. And at that time, I was really exploring and like opening up to my ability to have that sort of communication. So she was there with me, and she would help me to expand that level of understanding. So that was really fun during that time. And now she's kind of gone away, disappeared. If I wanted to call her, I could. So it's this ebb and flow of different guides coming and different guides going, and then the foundation of your primary guides. And then at a certain point, for me, for instance, the individual energies don't matter as much, because then you're open to all these other areas, and it can be your intuition, your inner knowing, your higher self connecting with you. It can be a nature spirit. It can be someone else's guide talking to you. It can be so many different things, but you understand the frequencies. This is like, okay, yellow looks like this, and it's like, okay, understanding that, and then going blue is like this, and understanding that. And then once you have the full palette in front of you, you're like, oh, okay, that's that one, and you can use them and you can play with them in a really harmonious way. So for me, when I'm, for instance, in sessions with people and I'm connecting with their guides, with their higher selves, I'm using all of my extrasensory perceptions, and it'll come through in the way that it needs to be communicated through them. So if it's someone that's highly visual, it'll just be clairvoyant, clairvoyant, clairvoyant. If it's someone that's very auditory or more in their mind or something like that, it'll be messages, like special messages that tweak something. Or it could just be a vibrational transmission that I'm like emanating. So it's just utilizing and bringing through these different energies. So as you get more adept at these individual frequencies, you'll just have so much more to play with. So there's really a lot to look forward to. So there's a real depth to these primary guides as you connect with them, as they give you information or they send frequencies to you just so that you can begin to perceive the spirit realm. It's beautiful, and they're with you forever, and it just feels so amazing. And these are likely beings people that you helped in another time that now have gone in spirit and are spending their whole time assisting you while you're in the physical life. So there's a lot of different interplay as to what spirit guide is assisting you. And as you communicate with them and get more information, you can find out why. Or you can just stay on the energy level and just play with the energy and receiving and understanding in different ways. Now, I have been having a lot of fun with the guides that come and go, because depending on what kind of frequency you're emanating, and the more that you create, the more that you're going for it, in whatever category in your life, the more guides you get and the more support it attracts, because it's like, whoa, someone down here's really doing it. Like, let's bring them in. And it's like you're an open channel of source, and you're receptive and ready to ground that in and to create more in this physical realm. And so all these non-physical energies that are supportive, that are creative, this is where the muses come in. They're just right there lining up. Here, shoot that one down. Oh yeah, let's manifest this. And it's amazing. So know that. So if it's like, oh, I'm not really connecting with much, it's like, go do something. Go create something. And then the support will come. And it's one of those things that you start like walking, you start going on this mission with a certain energy, and then boom, you're like, oh, hey, oh, how you doing? And all of a sudden you feel the support. So it's one of those things, just like any relationship, if you're needy, it's not that they can't come to you, it's that you can't perceive them because you're a different vibration. So they're wanting to support when you're really going for it. And I really feel these different energies, like when I start cooking, certain guides come through, and I only feel them when I'm cooking, and there literally are cooking guides. And then when I do art, woof, a whole different crew comes in, and they are assisting me with the art. And then there's ones that are overall, like for instance, doing this video, certain guides that are helping me do this. And the one particularly that I feel really strongly with me right now is not necessarily like a guide that's with me all the time. It's one that came through to be a guide of the guides to help us in this situation, to help humans in this situation. That's what I'm hearing from him right now, is he's like, this is what I do. I guide on people connecting with guides. I'm like, ooh, very interesting. So it's really fun to connect in with these different guides and pay attention to their different energies, and then also ask for their assistance. Be like, all right, I have this open vessel, I'm wanting to write this song, or I'm ready to launch this new business. Come on, let's do this. Like call in the spirit guides to assist you with that, and then connect in with your higher self, and I'll do more on that. But really just asking and intending, and they'll come. And when you're that ready vibration, and when you're ready to let spirit also really fuel through you in like a deeper way, and you create the space for that, they'll come. So it's really fun, and it's something that can happen quite organically. And this is the thing, you might feel it as you do your intentions and as you start kind of meditating in the quiet space, like I said, but you also will see it in synchronicity that comes up. Like that's the thing, is like they're the orchestrator of that. And that little like knock on the door, like, hey, you might want to look at that. Hey, this is an interesting person to connect with. So those just like subtle messages. Sometimes it's your intuition, sometimes it's a guide, and sometimes it doesn't matter. Just take take that and run with it. But really quieting yourself and paying attention and being excitedly receptive and not skeptical. Because when you're first opening to the spirit world, skepticism kills it all. It's like the block wall to all of your extrasensory perceptions, and for this beautiful organic dance of spirit to connect with the physical realm. Like it's a cultivation that's very beautiful and it's very sacred. And skepticism kills the whole deal. Skepticism is very important. So where it comes in is after the experience has happened. So if you're in this experimental phase for the next hour working on this, or for the next few days and the next week, and you're like, I'm just gonna open myself to my spirit guide specifically, being very specific with your energy intentions, not just like, I'm open to anything, but really intentional, then let that experience be what it is. Let's see how it unfolds, give it that space. Then after that allotted time, when you close that beautiful sacred space that you're creating with yourself, with your guides, with whatever other benevolent spirits or whatever you're wanting to connect with, then go, then objectively assess, see like, I think that was a little bit my mind, or like, no, that was pretty freaking new. That was something that I haven't experienced before, or I've always kind of felt that energy. I never connected the two, but now that makes sense. I'm going to give that greater credibility and honor that and be grateful for that a bit more. So play with it in those ways. There's a lot here to start with. This is just the beginning too. It's really, really fun, and stay in that playful phase with it, because that'll be the proper vibration to connect with them. And then from that playful place, depending on how they want to communicate with you, it could go deep, it could be rich, it could be powerful, it could be profound, whatever energies are meant to come through for you to experience. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment below if you have any additional questions, if you have certain experiences you've had with your spirit guides, if there's any ways that you've found work for you, please leave that below. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and hit that bell so that you get notifications when I create new content, new videos like this for you. And I really appreciate you watching, and I'll be back next week with another video.